and make sure that we take care of our financial house first. That's the main thing. And I don't believe you were here. We have a candidate that I'm negotiating with as we speak.
Mr. Poplar, you're back.
David Popkin, Tenafly Road. In tab 2 is the bus contract. One thing says page 1 of 6. Where is page 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of 6? Second question on that. Why was that signed as being approved 8 days ago when it's up for vote tonight? Third point on that. The contract expires one day before it was issued. On the DOPCO contract, how much is this costing us, and when can I find out so I can make comments on it? There's nothing in the tabs that show anything on the settlement.
Let me make that announcement. The DOPCO resolution that you see, and that's 12F35, that's being pushed back. That's actually being tabled until next meeting, so we'll get more information for you on that, Mr. Popkin.
Why did we announce this at the beginning of the, what else is being tabled?
Actually, you can blame that on me. Your question reminded me, but we did not yet even move the agenda. And also to address some of the other comments, as I mentioned, we're actually going to, as soon as this is over, go back into close and discuss some of the very issues that were brought up. Go ahead.
Why are we paying $37.23 for somebody to watch over detention when there are plenty of teachers who do it for $30 an hour? On the superintendent's contract, how much money is at stake for the state aid that this district receives? On the middle school, or the Liberty School rather, why do we have a ratio of 4 to 1 basically? What's the ratio in the rest of the district? And what's the significance of calling it 17 adults rather than 17 teachers? What's the breakdown of the adults between teachers and non-teachers? And also, I understand the contract that you signed with the teachers union requires you to pay them extra compensation for this. Why hasn't that been done? And as I say, what else is being withdrawn so we know what we can comment on and what we don't have to comment on?
Yeah, Mr. Popkin, once again, my announcement for now is relative to 12F35, and we have not yet moved the agenda, but 12F35 I can announce is being pushed back. That's being tabled for now. Everything else, we're going to discuss some other issues relative to the agenda. As I said, action will be taken when we return. So I'll make those announcements when I get back after sitting with the board.
So at this point, nothing else is being withdrawn?
That's correct, at this point.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, Mr. Michael Brown.
Good evening. Tonight, my comments are coming from the hat of co-chair of the Englewood Administrative Association. First, I would just like to reference 12P42 candidate, third name down, Mr. Thomas. I would just like to say thank you. I think that you have chosen an outstanding and a great candidate. Please note that the Englewood Administrative Association supports Mr. Thomas in this capacity. We really appreciate Central Administration also looking from within to hire for this position. And like many others have stated, the association also would hope that the title of acting is temporary and that we would move swiftly to transition and make him the full-fledged principal at school. But we do thank you for that. My second comment is coming from 12P42 on the addendum along with 12P44. Number one, I do not recall the posting of this position. However, I do realize that from time to time emergencies come up and we do have to post. But I do want to note that from the association's standpoint that this position was not posted to my recollection. And if I'm wrong, you can bring it to my attention. 12P42, there's no certificate listed for this candidate. There's a candidate, there's a proposed position, but there's no cert. In 12P44, the title reflects director, but the resolution reflects supervisor. So we have director, we have supervisor. Now both the director and the supervisor, both of those titles are within the contractual agreement of the Englewood Administrative Association. So I'm curious to know which one applies and which certificate is going to be used for which title. May I suggest, especially being that you're going in closed session, that you possibly seek counsel on this topic. I think that with everything that's been presented this evening in regards to the efforts that we're doing in China, I think it would just make good sense to make sure that we do it the right way so that we do not have to, have our efforts interrupted in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. As a matter of fact, those very comments are part of why we're going in closed. That being said, privilege of the floor is now closed. I'm going to ask for a motion. Go into closed, personnel and legal. And contract. I have a motion. It's been properly seconded by Ms. Lubar. Action will be taken. I expect to be back within an hour's time. If longer, I will have someone come down to address the crowd. Thank you.